My son Reese was denied the basic right to life, and we, his family, have been robbed of our right to spend time with him, and our lives will never be the same. Every joyous occasion will be marred by the absence of Reese. Birthdays, Christmases, every family celebration, his presence is deeply missed. His face missing from all future family get-togethers and photographs. We have our memories, but they'll never take the place, the Reese-shaped place, that's missing in all our hearts. This limbo we're in is the loneliest place to be, overwhelmed by the enormity of his death, knowing he's gone but somehow disbelieving the reality of it all.
I think I'm lost without you.
Fighting Fear with Hope. The story of the Off the Streets community. Episode 3. Be the change you want to see. On the early hours of February the 1st of 2019, a group of 5 men kicked down 23-year-old Reese Ottaway's door apartment in Northampton while he was sleeping. After having murdered Reese with several stabbings, the hateful group left the scene with a £10 note and an iPhone. Although all of them were sentenced to prison terms between 34 and 14 years, they left a trail of destruction behind. Reese's mother, Charlotte, claims that she had to make decisions that no parent should ever have to make and that can never be erased.
No mother should have to bury her child. I find myself screaming at other road users, wanting to throw my phone at the wall, just wanting to break something, anything. Everything goes round and round in my head. Did Reese suffer? Did he know what was happening to him? Was he trying to fight for his life? Was he scared? Why couldn't I save him? How do I accept that I'll never see my son, hold him, smell him, or hear his voice again? When Reese was murdered, he became a victim of crime, a statistic, forensic evidence, DNA, a body, a source of gossip and theories. I had to make decisions that no parent should have to make, hear things no parent should have to hear. I know other people saw Reese the man, but to me, he was and always will be my baby boy, and I will mourn his death for the rest of my life.
There is no sentence, there is no justice to console the pain of a broken family, a pain that passes from parents to siblings and will never be forgotten.
My mum's cry lives with me. Seeing my own brother lying in the mortuary lives with me. I don't think I'll ever be able to accept that my brother Reese is gone. I sit down at his grave every 1st of each month and I tell him about his nephew and the things that's going on in his life and mine. It shouldn't be that way. Things need to change. The world needs to change and we all need to change. Thank you.
Have you been to a funeral and heard the mother crying? When her son's in the ground, it sounds like she's dying. And it's been like this for years. Wiping those tears and printing those T's, saying put the knife down, blaming police, writing to our local MPs. I've seen mums at knife crime rallies begging on their knees like, they've took my son, but make it stop please. And it's our responsibility. Have you heard it takes a village to raise a child? But we're losing our community so they're left to run wild. And this isn't the time for answers or excuses. But the youngers need to know there's consequences for their offences. Justice will be served if you're caught or let go. Because when you take a life, you forfeit your own. Thank you.
Quentin Green's poetry is grounded in his own convictions and his own life experiences. It is ultimately about being the change we want to see.
Often people say, if I change one person's life, that's all that matters. So let's change one person's life each and every day, when we go to schools, when we go to colleges, when we work for the councils, when we work for the charities. Let's do that intervention and lift people and empower them and be the change that we want to see in the community.
One of the ways that Off the Streets found to show the community the work that is being done is precisely to go out into the street. And I myself had the opportunity to witness a march that caught everyone's attention.
People, I'm sure you're sick and tired of seeing your young ones leaving in the morning and not returning. They die from a stab wound, they die from. A small stab wound. It's sick and it's not right. We've got our young babies born in and dying from knife crime.
It's impossible not to get absorbed by an event that gathered together around 50 people in the beginning, but when it starts to hit the streets, more people joined the march. What was initially around 50 people, it's now almost 100 people on the street. Some of them, they stop to watch the march. Some of them as well, they start clapping, just like saying thank you to this group of citizens that actually are doing something to stop this scourge that it's called knife crime.
What do we want? Safer streets! When do we want it?
No! What we bloody do?
What do we want?
Safer streets!
And when do we need it?
Now!
Thank you!
Initiatives whose sole objective is to draw the community's attention to a problem that must never be silenced. Angie Kennedy, CEO of C2C Social Action, says it's all about keeping the dialogue alive, especially between families.
For me, it's all about starting that conversation, and it's not just talking to young people about it, it's actually encouraging intergenerational communication. You know, it's starting grandparents talking to their grandchildren, you know, parents talking to their kids, having those difficult conversations to say, actually, you shouldn't be doing this. We've got to change community perspectives, and the only way we can do that is if the whole community engage in it.
And for all those who insist on making crime a way of life, here's a message. There is a group of citizens that will not give up. A group of citizens that will never give up their work, because this is a never-ending story. A story called Off the Streets.
It's purely because we are sick and tired of all these knife crimes going on and all our young ones dying from knife crime. That was the main reason why we started.
From the youths up the road in a different postcode. The reason why you always go the long way home. So the olders on the block become your bigger brothers. Now it's almost as if you're related to each other.
It's just the little things that's going to make the difference. It's the little steps that are going to make the bigger steps.
Who really wants to end up in prison or dying? And the social networks make it all look exciting. The way that gangs incite violence live online, and it's followed by an advert to make sure we're still buying.
We want a future that, you know, my children are not scared to go out and play. My children are not scared to work in the environment, in the community. And as a parent, we need to stand against this. It's happening to us. It's happening to our community. Yeah. So we need to say no more. No more. No more. We will allow this to take away our young people's future. No more. No more.
And I'm not about to blame it all on drill, but thoughts become words, and words become real.
Together we stand against knife crime. What do we want? When do we want it?